to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, I am Milk and this is Milk Astrology. Today we're going to be doing a video about your weekly tarot forecast. If you watch my previous ones, you know this is coming up every week. And I'm doing air signs first because I always do air signs first. So if you are an air sign, I would prefer that you apply your rising sign, but you can apply your sun, moon, Mars, or Venus. So for Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini, this reading is for you. Again, I would prefer that you apply your rising sign, but you can apply your sun, moon, Mars, or Venus. I have 8 of Wands reversed, which is talking about delays, frustration about things not working out in the time or the way that you want them to work out. I also have 5 of Wands, so there's like conflict, there's disagreement right now that's happening this week for you. I also have Queen of Pentacles, so there's a sense of taking on a lot of responsibility, taking on more than I think you want to or that you are willing to take on. I feel like it's almost like you feel just responsible for people around you or a situation or a circumstance. I feel like you're putting more on your shoulders than you need to. And then I also have the moon. So there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of fears that are popping up this week, and I do think it's because there's so much frustration right now for you. I feel like you're trying to do the most, but I also feel like what you're doing is kind of going against keeping the peace, and I think that's getting you stressed out because you're someone that maybe wants to keep a very like calm and harmonious environment, and when you're not able to have that, I think it really bothers you, it really stresses you out. You're someone that kind of likes to please people, so being in situations or circumstances where you can't necessarily please people is a stressful situation to be in for you. Now I also have new moon, a new start is coming. Okay, so overall I feel like this reading is saying this week you can't always do things to please other people. I feel like a lot of the time you get caught up in the need to take on more responsibility or be more passive about the things that you want or that you're feeling to kind of deflect what you're going through. I feel like you're constantly downplaying your emotions or yourself. I feel like you're constantly feeling like you need to put yourself on the back burner to accommodate other people, and instead of just being like, hey, I'm stressed out, or I actually need this right now, or this is happening. I feel like you've gone silent, and I feel like you need to stop taking on more burdens than you're willing to deal with or handle at the moment. But I think overall you need to take back your own voice. I feel like this reading is saying that this week is about not necessarily doing things that please people, and I think also it's about being honest with yourself. I feel like yes, it's okay to take on responsibility and do things for others, but you can't do it to the point that you're feeling like you lost your sense of self-worth or your sense of identity. There might be some confrontation in the mix because of that, but I don't think that overall that's going to lead to a bigger issue. I feel like if anything, that's going to lead to a resolution, because overall you might not have things or this picture or this idea of what you want in the way that you're going to get it this week, but as long as you're not pretending everything's okay when it isn't, I feel like this week is going to be a lot better, easier for you. Again though, you're in this habit of trying to do the most and avoid conflict, but I feel like it's going to happen regardless. Pretty much people are going to say something negative no matter what, so at least be honest with yourself moving forward. That way you don't feel like the things that you want or the things that you're doing are disingenuous to who you are. And I think that is the advice for this week. Again though, with the Oracle card, a new start is coming. I feel like this week might be more stressful because you might be more overwhelmed with needing to do more. I think you're going to need to work in some TLC or time to just rest, whether that's drinking a glass of wine or watching TikTok videos. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, this week is going to be about making people angry but being honest about what you want and who you are, and that's not always an easy thing to do or an easy week ahead of you, but at the same time I feel like it's going to lead you to some refreshing conclusions that give you almost like a fresh start. As cheesy as that sounds, that is your reading for this week. Hello, this reading is for Earth signs, so if you are a Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus, please apply. I would prefer that you apply a rising sign, but you can apply your Sun, Moon, Mars, or Venus. I just feel like the rising sign will be the most accurate for you. So yeah, this is for my Earth signs. So far, this upcoming week is going to be a bit challenging for you. I feel like this has also been like a long time coming. I feel like, a lot of the things that you've been trying to avoid feeling or dealing with are coming to surface. And I do feel like this week is one of those weeks where you just need to take things slower and you need to take your time. I feel like you're in this hectic state of needing to do things quickly, and I don't think that's always the best route to take. So I have the Hermit reversed, which means that you're feeling very isolated lately. I feel like you're burnt out with the people around you or the company that you're keeping, or I think you're maybe avoiding having to have like some conversations with people that you just don't really want to have. I also have 7 of Wands reversed, and there's a sense of exhaustion. I think you're burnt out. I think that a lot of the things that you thought you wanted might not be the things that you've realized you needed. I also have 2 of Pentacles reversed, so you're very, all of this is very chaotic. You've been taking on so much lately that I think you're just burnt out, you're exhausted. I also feel like you're disappointed. And I don't think that that's something that you really want to talk about yet, or I think that's something that you're just not ready to admit, because I think there's a sense of avoidance with these cards, like you're trying to hide. You don't really want to deal with things head on. But I also have the High Priestess, and this is saying like you have the intuition, you have the understanding of what you're feeling, what you're thinking. I just think it's something that you don't fully want to accept yet, and that's okay. I don't think that people should do things when they're not ready to, but I do feel like you should definitely accept that things are not okay. I think you're going at a rate that is so quick that you're not giving yourself any time to breathe. I think like taking a step back and being like, wow, I'm really stressed out, or I have a lot on my plate. Like, I think that's something that you need to kind of come to full circle with right now, because the direction you're going in is just exhaustion. It's just burnt out, like you're tired, and I just think that the best way to really help yourself this week is to just take some time to yourself. I know that might sound a lot easier said than done, especially if you're a essential worker right now. Like, I know that times are crazy. I just feel like you need to take something off of your plate, and maybe that's what you're avoiding. Maybe you don't want to take something off of your plate. You don't want to admit that you have to give something up because maybe you don't want to. But I think you need to choose you now instead of all of the other things that you're trying to juggle. So that is my reading. Oh yeah, and I also have it's time to release negativity, full moon in Scorpio. And I feel like this card is really fitting because, again, I just feel like you're kind of down on your luck. I feel like you're going through this motion of things are just not in the direction that you want them to go in, and you're, instead of being kind of like your usual energy where you're like, okay, what's the game plan? What's my next move? You're kind of just throwing the towel in. And I think a lot of that is your mindset right now. I think when you take things off of your plate and you admit that some things that have been sitting with you just aren't okay, and you accept that you should have better for yourself, the circumstances around you will do better. But I know that's a lot easier said than done, so I'm not gonna preach at you, but that is my reading for this week for you. Hello, this reading is for my fire signs. So if you are a Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, this reading is for you. You can apply your sun, rising, moon, or Venus. I would just really prefer that you apply your rising sign. And yeah, so this reading I have Princess of Cups. So this card is kind of different than a usual tarot deck. It's a bit more, it's not in every tarot deck, but this is kind of about a person that's really just positive and optimistic and creative and energetic. I feel like you have a lot of passion. I feel like you're someone that's very bubbly. You're very creative with the things and pursuits that you have. You're also kind of like a visionary. Everything that you see like a potential for something better. I also have Knight of Wands reversed though, so this indicates that you're taking on a lot more than I think you realize. I feel like you're putting a lot on your plate, but you don't give yourself enough time to actually digest or do things. You just keep doing them. It's almost like you keep putting things on your plate, and instead of taking time to eat anything, you just keep putting things on your plate. And then I also have the Magician, and this is interesting because you're very innovative and you're very wise. I think you've been very calculated in a sense lately, and I think You've been really aligning your creative vision with the things, like how to execute it. So you'll think of something really exciting, and then instead of just like, oh, well, that's a cool idea, like you actually do it. This could also be why you're feeling a bit burnt out lately, and why you don't want to admit that you're feeling a bit burnt out lately. And then I also have the Sun reversed. And this is powerful. I feel like I always pull like this for the Strength card in my fire readings, which is funny because they're both fire related in my opinion. Well, this one is. I don't think the Strength is. I don't know. But yeah, so I feel like this is saying that you're just feeling a bit down on your luck. I feel like you have the right headspace, but I feel like you're just not. Everything's becoming too businessy for you. Everything's becoming very work oriented. Everything's becoming very like focused on your obligations and your jobs and your priorities and how to like execute strategies and things like that. And that's really great. That's a part of you that is very powerful. But the part of you that has like the passion and the love and the creativity, I don't really think that it's there right now. I feel like you have the logistics down, and I think your mind is in the right space, but I think your heart's just not there. And I think you can have the best idea in the world, but if it's not something that actually like makes you happy, I feel like that's something that you should think about. This could be about a business venture. I feel like it's mostly a career-wise, but this could be about your relationships. This could be dynamics with your family or hobbies that you've been pursuing. I'm not saying to give it up. I just feel like you need to put your joy and your thrill back into the things that you're doing, because I feel like your life is becoming monotonous. It's very like routine, and that's very unlike fire energy to me. So you need to shake it up, and you need to challenge yourself. You need to ask yourself if the things that you're doing inspire you or if they're not fulfilling you anymore. And it's okay to accept that things aren't always what you want, or to change your mind. And I feel like sometimes you start things with so much energy and so much passion that giving it up feels like you failed something, and that's not always the case. So, oh yeah, also I have nothing is yet set in stone. So that is interesting, because I feel like that is kind of reiterating the fact that, yeah, things are working out and they're doing better, and I think you're going in a direction that you're excited about. I think you're improving on yourself as a person, but just because you're improving doesn't mean that you have to have everything done already. Like, you're allowed to take your time, you're allowed to go at your own pace. Not everything needs to be done, or the destination that you're trying to get to. Sometimes it's not always about getting there, it's about the experience, and that's really cliche, but that's the truth. So that is just something to think about this week. Hello, this reading is for my water signs. So if you are a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, this reading is for you. You can apply your Sun, Moon, Mars, Rising, Venus, Mars, whatever. I would just prefer that you apply your rising sign. There it is. So yeah, this reading is for you. So I have 10 of Wands reversed, which means you're doing the thing that I think I've already talked to you about again. You're carrying more on your shoulders than you need to. You're putting a lot on your back, whether it's like your family and your career and your passions and your relationship. You're putting everything on your back and you're taking everything in all at once, but you're doing the most. I also have Knight of Pentacles, which talks about too much on your plate, and then Eight of Pentacles, which also talks about too much on your plate. So you're really feeling a lot of exhaustion and burnt outness. I feel like you are trying to do so many things at once that nothing's getting done, and I think you're getting frustrated, but you also don't want to ask for help, and you don't even want to admit that you need help. So it's like this weird dynamic of biting off more than you can chew, but then refusing to admit that you did. And I think this is making you feel very isolated, and you're feeling very exhausted because you're just running yourself into the ground, as bluntly as that sounds. And the thing that you need to do and you need to realize is that not everything needs to be done at once, and you don't need to do everything on your own. You can ask for help. And also, like, don't get into the habit of not asking for help and then getting upset that no one's helping you. You need to admit that you need help, because people are around you and they want to help you, but you're just so independent right now. You're in this weird moment in life where you just really feel like you need to do everything on your own. I don't know if maybe you have some underlying issues there. Maybe you're just not trusting someone. Maybe you have tension with someone, but you're stressed. Like this woman is carrying everything on her back. And Knight of Swords comes into play, and this is really interesting because it looks like things aren't actually going that badly right now in your life, and this could also be why you feel like you need to constantly go out of your way to do so much and burn yourself out. And I think it stems from the fact that like you love what you're doing, and that's such a genuine thing to do and be like, because like you love being around your family, you love helping your friends, you like working, you like, you know, everything that you're doing so much, but the things that you're doing you enjoy doing. So it's like, I think that's why you're so conflicted. Maybe you just don't want to give up anything, but at the same time I feel like you need to realize that you can't give everything your attention if you're trying to do 80 different things at once. And it's okay to be excited about something or have a mission to do something or want to learn and utilize a new skill, but you can't multitask all the time. You have to do one thing at a time at times. We also have the end of a tough cycle approaches, full moon in Capricorn. So I do feel like there's going to be some healing from this. I think this week you're going to be faced with the fact that you do need to get things off of your plate to reprioritize the things that you want. And I think there's going to be a lot of clarity with that. But I do think that this is kind of an end to an era or an end to a cycle in your life. And I don't necessarily think this is going to be a bad week for you. I just think that it's going to be a bit exhausting until you relieve yourself. But no one can help you until you ask for help. That is my reading for you this week. Overall, I guess that completes my video. If you enjoyed this, if it was helpful, please give me a like and a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment below and tell me what your thoughts were. And please don't forget to subscribe. I post new videos every Saturday, and I will see you in my next video.